Standing here helpless, looking for something to say. We've been together a long time. We never thought it would end. We were always so close to each other. You were always my friend. And it's hard to say goodbye, my love. It's hard to see you cry, my love. Hard to open up that door when you're not sure what you're going for. We didn't want this to happen, but we shouldn't feel sad. We had a good life together. Just remember all the times we had. You know I'll always love you. You know I'll always care. And no matter how far I may go in my heart, you'll always be there. And it's hard to say goodbye, my love. It's hard to see you cry, my love. It's hard to open up that door when you're not sure what you're going for. But we've got to grow, we've got to try. Though it's hard, so hard, we have to say goodbye. But I will always love you. But I will always love you forever. But I will always love you so hard. Baby, it's so hard. So hard. Baby, it's so hard. So hard. Baby, it's so hard.
Hello and welcome to week 24 of the Marea and Friends concert series. We are so honored and grateful to be here this evening with Gina Cuffari, the co-principal bassoonist of the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra and professor at NYU. And tonight is really symbolic for several reasons. One, that Gina is a singing double reed player as well, but also that we started the series out with Mr. Frank Morelli, and that is both of our teachers, and it just kind of really shows the two bookends for the start and end of these 24 weeks.
Yeah, and it is truly baffling to us that we have finally reached the end of this journey that we've been on for the past 6 months.
And we didn't quite want it to end, so we wanted everyone to wait just one more day.
Yeah.
Last night was a little too early.
Yeah, so here we are on the Sunday of the finale of Marea and Friends. And before we get started, if you don't mind taking a few minutes, and you can visit our website and purchase your optional $5 virtual ticket. This really means a lot to us and everyone involved, and we are so grateful for everyone who has supported us and encouraged us throughout the past 24 weeks. We could not be here without you. So
yeah, and also we could not be here without the incredible artists that have collaborated with us and given us so much life and joy and good musical energy throughout these 6 whole months.
Yeah.
So let's get this program started tonight, and Gina has such an incredible program in store for you.
All right, let's hear a little bit about our final guest artist for our grand finale, Gina Cuffari. Bassoonist Gina Cuffari is a dynamic and versatile artist who performs with many ensembles in the New York City area. Praised for her sound that turns sensuous, lyric, and fast-moving, Gina is co-principal bassoonist of the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra and member of the Lincoln Center-based Riverside Symphony. She frequently appears with the Orchestra of St. Luke's, American Composers Orchestra, Westchester Philharmonic, American Ballet Theater, Iris Orchestra in Memphis, Tennessee, and many more. In addition, she has subbed with the Broadway productions, which include Fiddler on the Roof, Sunset Boulevard, and My Fair Lady. An avid chamber player, Gina is a member of the Jupiter Symphony Chamber Players, Sylvan Winds, and founder of the Trio Cambrini. She has played with the renowned West Coast-based ensemble, Camerata Pacifica, and is a recent addition to the artist roster of the Boston-based Walden Chamber Players. Gina is also a champion of new music and is a frequent collaborator with Alarmal Sound. A passionate educator, Gina is an adjunct professor of bassoon at New York University and Western Connecticut State University, and is a regular guest clinician at the Bard College for the orchestra now. Gina is also a versatile singer who enjoys performing in many different styles. From classical to musical theater to jazz pop and R&B, she loves it all and has professional experiences performing in all genres. In the New York Times review of the Jupiter Chamber Players, Alan Cousin said, Gina Cuffari, a soprano, though she is usually the group's bassoonist, sang them, a set of Toscanini songs, with the right balance of gracefulness and passion. Gina's current passion project is commissioning new works which integrate both voice and bassoon into one performing experience. Thank you so much, Gina, for being our final guest on the Marea and Friends concert series for season 1. We are so honored and grateful to be here with you today, and we cannot wait to get this program started.
So here we are, week 24, with bassoonist and singer Gina Cuffari, and Gina is the bassoonist at Orpheus and teaching at NYU, and it is seriously such an honor and a joy to be here with her today. And it's also so great to be wrapping up the concert series as almost 2 bookends, where we started with Mr. Morelli, both of our teachers, and then we are ending with the other bassoonist in Orpheus, and someone who also can really relate to us with the singing and playing. So it's just so great to be here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me. It really is an honor to be here. I've been watching, well, I haven't seen every single episode, but I have seen what you've been doing since the fall, and I'm just so impressed by what you all have accomplished. So congratulations to you. I just want to say that up front. You've been such an inspiration to all of us, for my generation, for your generation. So thank you very much for having me.
Oh, well, we're honored to have you.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I have been watching, it's just to see someone who else sings and plays is just, I mean, that's also part of it. I mean, I always heard about you in my lessons, Mr. Morelli. And so,
Yeah.
So it's actually it's wonderful. When I first reached out to you, Eleni, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a great connection because I don't have somebody else in my life who really kind of understands, um, what we both do as musicians and how, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about this today, but how our singing can inform our bassoon playing and vice versa.
Knowing like the struggle of being a wind player and figuring out sing and
And then
play your instrument.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yes, and I don't know if anybody will ever truly understand what it means to do both. And listen, there are so many similarities between singing and playing a wind instrument, right? Especially a double reed instrument. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen the inside and seen what our vocal folds look like when they're resonating. Looks just like a double reed. I mean, what we have inside right here is exactly what we have externally when we play our instrument. And so the vibrations and the way we initiate our sound is very, very similar in both of these instruments. One is internal, one is external. But yeah, so a lot of people think, oh, it must be so hard to do that. And yes, it is. But at the same time, there are so many similarities, right? Between the two.
Yeah.
What something that I've been doing lately is experimenting with going back and forth between playing and singing in the same piece, and that's hard. But it's my own fault because these are, my own arrangements that I'm doing, and so I'm not giving myself enough time to breathe necessarily, But it's been fun. It's been a challenge, just for me personally, to see what I can do.
So the first piece on the program tonight is going to be an aria from J.S. Bach's Cantata number 140. And this aria is entitled Mein Freund ist mein. And this means my friend is mine. And this could not be any more fitting than to be on the finale episode of Marea and Friends. And we are so honored to be collaborating with Gina Cuffari on this whole episode, but this piece in particular, and it's just been so awesome being with another double reed player who also sings. So this has been a lot of fun to put together with Gina.
Definitely. And as you're listening to this cantata, you will hear that there is an A-B-A form. So 3 main parts, and you'll notice that there are 3 performers. So we will all be trading back and forth the 3 solo lines in this cantata, which are the soprano, the tenor, and the oboe solo line. And you'll be hearing those on all of our instruments and our voices. It sounds a lot more confusing than it is, but there are so many textures weaving in and out of this, as you can hear in Bach's harmonies and writing. So it's been so great to put this together, and we're really excited to share it with you tonight.
Yes, and also thanks to Tom Cuffari for playing the harpsichord and the keyboard part, and helping us with some of the mixing for this. So
yes.
It's been really fun.
if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about your background and how you started playing the bassoon, and then how you started singing, and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. I will try to make this brief. So first of all, I'm from Rochester, New York, upstate New York, from a little town of Chili. Actually, now we live in Churchville. My parents live in Churchville, Chili. That is the school district that I attended. And first of all, I want to say that we had an amazing music program up there. I mean, I really owe everything to my first teachers that I had there, elementary school all the way through high school. I come from a family who's very musical. My father is a singer, a guitarist. He never formally studied, but he grew up, didn't really grow up in, but really participated in the 70s folk movement. So he had a singing group, playing singing group that we used to hear a lot when I was a kid. My sister is actually also a musician, and in fact, she's an oboist and a singer herself. Yeah, so we were a double reed family growing up. And now she's a music therapist and teaching up in Rochester still. My mom doesn't necessarily play an instrument or sing, but she is has a great appreciation of music. And so she really supported, both my mom and dad supported both my sister and I from a very young age. I started playing the piano when I was 5, took lessons when I was 5 from Jan Nagel. I have to give her a shout out because she not only started both my sister and I on piano, but she taught us music theory, harmony, improv, all of this from a very young age, right from 5 years old. It was integrated into the piano lessons. And we always say she's the reason why we have this great musical foundation, because we really started when we were very young thinking about all of these things. But she taught us in a way that was fun. We had no idea we were learning theory. But it was an incredible beginning to a music career. Then when I believe I was in 4th grade, my elementary school music teacher, Kay Wilbert, introduced me to the bassoon. And she herself is a bassoon player. Oh. And this is why she was able to introduce not only myself, but other students to the bassoon at this young age. So that was incredible. First, I wanted to play the flute, but I couldn't get a sound on it. So I brought it back to her and she said, why don't you try this instrument? And I had never heard of the bassoon before. So again, I owe everything to her, really. She's the one that introduced me to the bassoon. But not only was it Kay that started me on this journey, but then in middle school, my music teacher was also a bassoon player, the general music teacher. Her name was Carol Pitkin. So, this never happens in a school district, right? To have 2 bassoonists in elementary school, then middle school. So it was great. We were nurtured from a very young age. High school, I started lessons with Kathy Reynolds. She was the second bassoonist in the Rochester Philharmonic at the time. And she was just such a wonderful teacher. She was really an inspiration, and she's really the reason why I am here today, because she taught me how to love the instrument. She taught me how to make reeds. I was a horrible reed maker at first, horrible, but she put up with me. She encouraged me to audition for certain university programs, because when you're that young, you don't really know what to do, where to go, who to study with. So she pointed me in the right direction. I ended up studying with Bill Winstead at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, CCM, and Martin James. So actually I started with Martin for the first 2 years, and then Bill Winstead the second 2 years. And actually, I just want to say, I think when this episode airs, I think we'll be coming up on, it'll be a year since Bill passed last February, I believe. I absolutely adored him. He was just, first of all, just an incredible, incredible musician. I mean, talk about a multi-instrumentalist. He, mastered everything about the bassoon. He was an incredible pianist, an incredible composer. He was a harpist, and he sang.
Oh, wow.
He did all of these. Elena, did you ever get a chance to work with him, or did you know him?
I didn't, but I've heard so many stories about how much of an integral part he was to the
Yeah.
community and how many people's lives he touched and changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really did. He was just a fantastic mentor, and just an incredible model for for us coming up, just as what you can do as a musician and have a successful career, but just the type of person he was and the life that he lived. So then after that, I knew that I wanted to go to New York City at some point. I thought, okay, this is the perfect time to do it. I had always heard amazing things about Frank Morelli, and so I started doing some research, and I auditioned for all of his schools, which are many. They still are many. I still don't know how he does it, how he teaches at so many places. So I studied with Frank at the Manhattan School of Music, and that's where I got my master's degree. And then I took a long time off. I stayed in New York and established myself as a freelancer there, but then went back to school to get my doctorate many, many years later at Stony Brook, where I again worked with Frank. So that's kind of my bassoon trajectory in terms of who I've studied with.
That you're going to hear are by the wonderful American composer William Grant Still. Now, I had known a lot of his instrumental pieces, but I did not realize how much he had written for voice in both opera and art song form. So I'm going to perform 2 of the 3 songs that are in a collection for bassoon and piano, arranged by Alexa Still. All of these songs were originally for voice. The first song is called Bayou Home, and the librettist for this song is actually William Grant Still's wife, Verna Arvey. And it's about a man who is about to leave his bayou home on a long journey. And in it he says he knows that the haunting tune of the bayou will stay with him throughout his journey and restore his soul as he misses his home and family. The second song, called If You Should Go, I will both sing and play, and it's from a song cycle called Songs of Separation. And the text from this one, it was written by the poet County Cullen, who was very active during the Harlem Renaissance. I just want to read the poem to you. Love, leave me like the light, the gently passing day. We would not know but for the night when it has slipped away. Go quietly. A dream, when done, should leave no trace that it has lived, except a gleam across the dreamer's face.
Leave me like the light, the gently passing day. We would not know, but for the night when it has slipped away, go quietly, a dream when done should leave no trace that it has lived, except a gleam across the dreamer's face.
Well, I guess we're kind of switching gears a little bit and just wondering if you could speak a little bit about how your bassoon playing and vocal music are intertwined. And I just would also like to say, and maybe Mr. Morelli is watching this, but I feel like for me, was the perfect match for the past 3 years, and really is one of those people that just completely changes your life. And he understands the importance of a mentor because he talks so highly of Stephen Maxim, his
Yes.
teacher. And I feel like he talks about vocal music where you listen to Fischer Dieskau, you listen to Hermann Prey, you listen to Fritz, our buddy Fritz Wunderlich, and you really embody both the bassoon and the vocal nature. So I feel like that's something that's in both of us, obviously. And I just want to hear a little bit about how you apply both concepts to your musicianship and artistry.
Sure. Well, I think, first of all, I want to just echo your sentiments about Frank. I mean, same. He was the perfect, and still is, the perfect mentor to me, especially right when I started working with him at MSM. He's had so much experience playing in an opera pit, at New York City Opera for years and years and years and years, and was taught by Maxim, who played at the Met for years and years and years. There's this really incredible lineage that's being passed down, to us now too. And it's true, the bassoon, I've always felt that actually bassoon and cello really, really sound like the human voice to me. That's, of all the instruments out there, I really do think that cello and bassoon really, really do sound like the human voice. And I feel like if we continue to, and this is what I tell my students too, you have to do a lot of listening. It's not always about playing all the time. We have to listen to everything that's out there, but listen to great singing. And then listen to great instrumental playing, but don't always listen to bassoon all the time, because that's not where you're always going to get your inspiration, right? I feel like simultaneously studying bassoon and voice from such a young age, there are a lot of things that I kind of did naturally that I didn't realize I was doing until later on, when I really started to analyze how I play and how, when you'll discover this too when you start teaching more. You really have to look inward and figure out exactly what you are doing, so that you can teach somebody else. And again, a lot of the things that I realized that I was doing just kind of naturally, or not really being mindful of, were some of these things that I gleaned from singing. So again, just using air support in the correct way. I mean, we can all improve upon that, including myself. I'm definitely not an expert at any of these things that I'm going to say right now, but these are things that I do think about, and I always had thought about, just having just a sense of line and phrasing when you play. When you sing, you have to constantly be using your air, right? Be singing with air. This idea of resonance, right, of getting the maximizing your sound on your instrument, with every single pitch, every single note. And I'm sure this is the same for oboe. There are different resistances on different pitches, right? Because of fingerings. Some notes might be sharp, some are flat, some are dull, some are bright. And a lot of these things have to do with your setup, your reeds, your instrument, your vocal, and all of this. But a lot of these things are due to the fact that either we're employing too much tension, which is something that we're constantly thinking about when we sing, right? Get rid of the tension, because you can really hear it in the sound. And again, I think on our instruments, we don't always think so much about that. We think, oh, this sound is dull. That means I got to force more air through it. When no, actually the opposite is the case, right? You have to relax maybe your embouchure a little bit, and maybe don't force as much air through the instrument. Just keep a good air support, and keep that air, keep spinning that air, but thinking of focusing your sound and focusing your air.
Loved Rossini's aria Una voce poco fa from The Barber of Seville, but I've never dared to attempt to sing it. It just seemed too difficult. But after arranging a different Rossini aria last year for bassoon and voice and piano, in which I alternate between singing and playing, I thought that same formula could work for Una voce poco fa, partly because I wouldn't have to learn how to sing the whole piece, only about half of it. So this next piece that you're going to hear is my first performance of my arrangement of Una voce poco fa for bassoon, voice, and piano. I want to thank Ted Soluri, the bassoonist who arranged this aria for bassoon and piano from his collection of arias called Sempre Libera. I took this arrangement, combined it with the original aria, and then peppered a few of my own little tweaks and embellishments into the mix. Please enjoy.
Ma se mi toccano davvero i poi sono una vivera sarò e 100 trappole prima di cedere farò giocare, farò giocare. Farò giocare, farò giocare. E 100 trappole per giocare. Io sono docile, sono obbediente, mi lascio reggere, mi fa guidare. E 100 trappole prima di cedere farò giocare, farò e 100 trappole farò giocare, 100 trappole farò giocare, farò
Yeah, how do you balance your music life with your home life and being a mother and things like that? I mean, it can't be easy, but
It's not easy. I think a lot of the work that I did early on in again establishing myself or establishing oneself, it was important because it was very, very hard to do that after I had my daughter. So I think kind of hitting the ground running when you get out of school and really just start the networking, just pour your heart and soul into developing your career, I think is actually a good thing because listen, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of work. And you don't want that once you decide to start to have a family because your priorities change.
yeah,
They do. And I have to say it was so amazingly wonderful in so many ways. I mean, obviously deciding to have a baby is so incredible, but it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. I mean, for me, I actually didn't have any of my peers that were woodwind players as a model that were my age. I actually did have, I have to give a shout out to Laura Kepke. I don't know if you know that name. She's the bassoon professor at Fredonia. And what she told me, and it was really true. I mean, before you have children, you really don't understand this, even though I tried. But she said, it's true. You really, you pour your heart and soul into your music, into playing your instrument, to being the best you can be. But at a risk of, if you put everything into it and you don't get that job or that audition doesn't go well or whatever it is, it's like your whole world collapses, right? And you don't, I mean, maybe not everybody feels that way, but I know a lot of people who, just put everything into an audition, really thought they were going to get it, didn't, and then felt like their whole world collapsed. You need to have a balance. You have to have a balance in life, and until I started a family, I didn't have that. And it took me having a baby to realize that it was almost an unhealthy lifestyle that I had. Honestly, I felt so much relief to finally put all of the stress of trying to get a job, trying to always play my best, trying to never make a mistake, because I wanted to work as a freelancer. And, every time we played anywhere, it was like an audition.
Yeah.
So it was incredible. It can be incredibly stressful, and it was for me, until I had my baby. And then I just thought, oh, nothing else matters. It put everything into perspective. Of course, music still mattered, but if I made a mistake when I played in a concert, oh well. I finally was able to just let it roll off my shoulder. My baby's going to be so happy to see me when I get home tonight. Oh, that's what I thought about instead. And it was so refreshing. Oh, and so cleansing. I don't know. It was just, and it still is to this day. I have never really gone back to that mode of thinking. But it's hard because until and listen, this is my own experience. Maybe, other people have had different experiences, but you have to, if you decide to have a family, you have to figure out a balance. And it's never perfect. You're never getting it right, but you're always trying. And that's the point. You're always trying to make it work, and I neglected to even talk about my husband. Obviously, he's part of all of this too. But,
yeah, right.
Maintaining, and this is also something that I am realizing now during quarantine, is that he also is a musician and he's also extremely busy. And, we both do a lot of traveling, and it can get to be too much. But at the time, when you're working, you think, oh, no, I have to do this job, because you're thinking, no, this is good for the family, right? We need to be working. We need to be making money for the family. But in fact, I've realized, it's not, you don't always have to take everything. You don't always have to feel like you're working so hard. You can say no, and it's okay. And in fact, it's much healthier to do that for your family. That all of this time that we've had together, oh my gosh, it has been incredible.
Yeah.
We've never been home together. Even, listen, on a typical week before this, there might be one day a week that all three of us were together eating dinner. And it's sad to think about that now. I mean, it's probably, it might go back to that way eventually, but I'm going to really try hard to keep some of this family time, to retain some of this family time, because we didn't know what we were missing until this all happened.
Yeah, I think that's for sure one of the, definitely one of the silver linings to, all of this time that we've been given is it makes you realize what is truly important in life is, and it's people, it's like the people you love and your family.
Yeah.
And I think that is, the ultimate reason I feel like we play music almost. It's for people that we love, and it's all about people.
It is all about, you're absolutely right. And it is, and it should be. But I think, I don't know, maybe it's because I've been just ingrained in this freelance world for so long, and it's very cutthroat. It's very competitive. The way that sometimes we do think about music or preparing for a concert or whatever it is in an unhealthy way that we think about it. Because you just feel like one misstep and that you might never get called again. And that's actually not true. I mean, then this is the thing, like, it's not true. But this is, I think, sometimes what we all feel. But you're right. It should always be about people and making other people happy and connecting with people and the collaborative nature of playing music and playing music for people and developing a sense of community with your audience. And right, all of this is so important. But I think sometimes we lose track of that. And I think this time has been so grounding for so many of us. It's just, made us get right back to our roots. It made us realize why we got into music in the first place and, how important it is. Aspects of it are important, but then there's all this other stuff, all this other baggage that comes with it. You got to shove it to the side. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
The final piece on the program tonight is Dizzy Gillespie's Con Alma, and tonight we are basing our performance off of the Tierney Sutton rendition of this tune. And we are so excited to be joined tonight by Gina Cuffari and also my dad, David Katz, and this is his third appearance on the Marea and Friend concert series. He played on the first, somewhere in the middle, and then also on the last. So it's really great to start and end this incredible passion project with you, Dad.
Yeah, and although this is a jazz tune, you'll hear a little bit of Bach-inspired melodic content at the beginning and also the end of this piece, where Gina, Eleni, and I all sing in 3-part harmony, and then we have some solo double reed lines.
Yeah, so one thing that the Marea and Friends concert series has been all about is the fusion of genres, so this is a really good example of that. And another thing that we really liked when we were putting together this tune was looking into the lyrics. And I feel like both of us can say that we have really tried to greet every dawning day and really just have faith and hope that we will get through this time. And being with these virtual audiences, these virtual collaborations, and just being able to share music has been really what has given us that extra push that we feel like we will get through this time as artists and as a virtual community.
Yeah, so we're so excited to share this tune with you, and thank you so much again to Gina for helping us with so much of this arrangement in particular, and also the Bach, but just this whole episode, we're so grateful to do this with you, Gina. Yeah.
our problems, right or wrong, that we do to ourselves. So love each other, love every day with soul. I know that we will survive, I pray.
Thank you so much, Gina, for your incredible performances tonight. I really hope that we get to meet one day in person and get to play live together.
Yeah, and this concludes the Marea and Friends concert series, season 1. We will be back in September for season
Not to
2.
fret.
But yeah, it's pretty astounding to us that we have come to this day.
Yeah, I mean, the past 6 months, 24 weeks, whatever you want to call it, it has been a total roller coaster, a total journey, a total learning process, and a total joy to be making these concerts for everyone out there.
Yeah, and it's been so awesome sort of creating this virtual community with all of these talented and wonderful people. And we're so grateful for everyone who has supported us. And it's been a crazy journey, but we're here.
Yeah.
we
made it.
We made it.
24 weeks in a row. I don't think I've actually done that, like, outside of the pandemic.
Yeah.
24 with straight concerts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we want to also make an announcement that next season, for season 2 in September 2021, we will be slightly revamping the structure of the concert series, and we will be having monthly episodes for all 12 months of the year. So it will be a really big treat to look forward to every month.
Yeah. And we are super excited for our new roster of artists who are going to be we'll get to collaborate with. And we are also going to be turning this season into a podcast that you can listen to maybe more accessibly on your way to work if you want to listen to some conversations and music from the Marea duo.
Yeah, and just one more moment, if you haven't taken the chance to visit our website and click the ticket page, your donations, your support, and honestly, you just being here tonight with us on our final episode means the world to us. We have really been pouring our hearts and souls and long nights into these episodes, so it just means the world to us. And the fact that we have been able to create art during this really difficult time with so many artists, I mean, it's been such a journey.
Yeah, and thank you so much to everyone who has come along on this journey with us.
Yeah, and we will definitely have some time to reflect on all of the wonderful memories that we've created in this virtual world, and we can't wait to be back together with our friends in person soon.
So that concludes the Marea and Friends concert series, the season 1.
Season 1.
But we hope everyone has a wonderful evening and a wonderful week, and we will see you in September.
Yeah, everybody, just stay healthy, Stay safe. We're gonna miss you. Really?
Yes.
Oh. All right, let's just cue the iMovie outro music.